Okay, welcome to a new episode of Farm Like a Hero, folks. I'm Richard Perkins. Today I'm here with Barnabas, who runs Cserhat, a half-hectare market garden in Hungary, specializing in high-value crops with all the latest market garden tools. It's a no-till farm using lots of compost as well as cover crops and a focus on rich soil life. So Barnabas, thanks so much for being with us, taking time to join us today.
Yeah, thank you, Richard, for having me.
Yeah, welcome. Tell us a bit about your history and pathway into farming. Like, how did you get involved with market gardening?
Okay. Yeah, so I have no family background in farming, typical city family. So city life, no any connection to rural areas or whatsoever. Um, Somehow I got interested in agriculture, so I went to just agricultural university here in
Mm-hmm.
Hungary, and in I think in the first year we visited really small organic garden. It was a biodynamic garden using all the biodynamic stuff, but only in gardening. So like a really small place, and yeah, I just got really interested, and after that. Um, it was everything coming like the next steps. After that, I went to a community farm. It was like a CSA farm, but it was owned by the members actually.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was the farm manager for 2.5 years on that farm.
In Hungary?
Yes, in
Yeah.
Hungary. Yeah. So I gained most of my experience there to start my own project. And
Mm.
yeah, so after that, I started my own business. It was 4 years ago.
Yeah. Awesome. What's the state there in Hungary? I know, speaking to a couple of people on the tour so far, that the animal farmers, they're saying that certainly in the sort of regenerative ag space, market gardens got more of a hold there, but it's not so many sort of CSA or market garden setups that you have over there, is it?
Not so much. Yeah, hard to say. Uh, like, if we want, yeah, if you consider like really good market gardening practices, I would say like 20 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
20 market gardens, which is like really like the bio-intensive stuff like
Yeah.
that. And of course, there are tons of small farms or vegetable growing farms, but yeah, using like really the bio-intensive methods and the market gardening tools, maybe, I don't know, 20, 30.
Mm. Is that a case of having to import stuff from Germany and places like that? I'm guessing like tools and materials are quite hard to find there as well.
Yes. We have to import like almost everything.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, we have a distributor for some stuff like paper pot and TerraTech tools from
Okay.
France. So we have a Hungarian distributor for that, which is good. But yeah, maybe it's changing somehow. I think we also have a distributor for the Jang seeder right now, but it's really like underground stuff. So
Yeah.
so,
But
but
it's
yeah,
picking up there. It's something that people are getting exposed to, at least.
yeah, we can say that.
Yeah. What about the lands from older times, like communist times, etc.? The My understanding is the lands often broken up, parceled into sort of odd land units and not necessarily complete farms, as it were. Tell us a
Yes.
bit how you got access to land. Do you own that, or is it rented land, or?
Yeah, so as I said, I had no background from the family, so therefore I started from zero with no land and actually not much capital because because right after, or no, like not after, but during the university I went to work on organic farms. So as everybody knows, it's not the place where you build up big capital, uh, more like experience. So I started with really small capital and no land from the family. So I started on rented land actually
Hmm.
in a small town not far from Budapest, and I rented the land from the city actually
Okay.
for like a very fair price, like almost for free actually.
Yeah.
So it was a good deal, and after 2.5 years, we bought our own small plot where we live right now. This is the
Okay.
Cserhat Biokert. So for 2 years we are on our own land.
Mm. Is that like land with a house, or if you had to, like, what was the land like when you sort of moved in?
Yes. So we live on the farm actually. There's a small house where we live, which is quite nice, and we have a quite big barn, which is in quite good condition.
Hmm.
Um, it's quite big, I can say. So we can do lots of stuff there, like post harvest and all the tools. We can also do workshops there. So it's a really nice feature for the farm. And
Mm.
yeah, we have a small land. It was mostly unused for the past decades, actually. So yeah, we had to start the garden from scratch,
Yeah.
and we are actually in the middle of a really small village here. It's there's like 300 people living in
Hmm.
this village, but we are in a village. So
What's the sort of village's perception of you folks moving to the country and starting up the small farm?
the people in this area are quite friendly, and mm, they really like the fact that young people are moving to the countryside and starts doing farming. So I can only say like good things
Mm.
about yeah, how they look at us actually.
Nice.
So it's quite good.
What's the sort of land prices there, just for reference for listeners, because the economy is obviously quite different to a lot of other parts of Europe. Like, what's a hectare of land with that kind of proximity to Budapest likely to cost, would you
Okay.
say?
Yeah, so compared to Western Europe or the US or the Scandinavian countries, land is quite cheap. Um, yeah, so maybe properties in the capital would be much more expensive, maybe more similar to bigger cities,
Hmm.
foreign cities. But the land, I have to say, is quite cheap. So the average price in Hungary, like 1 hectare land, only for agricultural use, I would say around average price maybe 4 or 5 thousand euros per hectare,
Hmm.
something like that. So I think it's quite cheap. And like a property like ours, it was around, so with a nice house for living and the barn and like infrastructure, water, a well, stuff like that, fenced around. So it's like a quite nice farm. You
Hmm.
can get a deal like this. Like we bought it around 30,000 euros,
Okay.
if I'm correct. Yeah, around that.
That's
So
great. So it's relatively still a chunk of money in the picture of the economy there, but it's achievable by the sounds of it compared to some of the people on the tour sitting outside cities where it's like 150,000 euros a hectare.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's quite different. So I would say this situation is really good in Hungary, and we have really good market in the capital. That is the
Mm.
main market, so you have to aim for that. But yeah, so we bought this land or this property for like 30,000, and we achieved this income in the first year.
Oh,
So it's
amazing.
quite okay for us.
Amazing. Mm. Oh, well done. And you've sort of set up on, was it pasture when you got the land?
Not pasture. It was just like unused land, like some old fruit trees, not in good condition, and just like mm, grass.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it was just like unused land.
What was your initial steps then? How did you go about creating beds and how did you plan the size of the garden initially?
Yeah, so the planning, it was more like what we can do in this really small space. And we moved here in December, and we wanted to start production in March, so we had to act really quickly. So yeah, we just cleared out the field, get rid of the old trees, and yeah, just plowing actually, because we needed to start using the field right away.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, so it was more like tractor-based stuff. Get a plow and get some disking, rototilling, stuff like that. And yeah, right after that, we put up our permanent beds, and yeah, we started building our hoop houses. We built 3 hoop houses and the permanent beds, put up the infrastructure, irrigation, and we were good to go by March actually.
Awesome.